Hi, and welcome to episode 3 of this small talk slash conversation strategies series. And thanks for joining me from wherever you are, whether you're watching me on a live stream or whether you're listening to me in the car from the podcast. I'm happy to have you with me for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. As promised, I'm going to do my best to keep it cleaner and simpler than I did in my last live stream, where we covered the 4 sides conversation model, which was not so much a conversation strategy, but more about raising your awareness of language and trying to improve your communication so that it doesn't lead to misunderstandings and you don't misinterpret what other people are saying. So it was more about raising your awareness of language rather than an actual conversation strategy. But today we're covering something called the R method by Dr. Carol Fleming, and it's going to be much more implementable and you don't have to study it or learn it. There's 3 simple steps to it. And I see it more as a bridging strategy between first making contact with somebody and getting into the flow of a small talk conversation and taking it to wherever you want it to go. So, whether you're in a coffee shop, maybe you're in a queue at the coffee shop and it's moving slow and you're feeling particularly sociable and you want to get into a conversation with the person in front or behind you in the queue, whether you're in the sports centre and you're lifting weights or you're on the running machine and there's people either side of you doing the same, or whether you're at a business seminar, at a wedding event, wherever you are and there's people around you and you're feeling like making some small talk. So first, you make contact by saying hi, they say hi back, and then you want to do what they term as establishing a mutually shared reality. It's a little bit convoluted, maybe, but basically what it means is you're finding something in your environment to comment on, to establish a commonality. So if you're at a business event and there's a presenter giving a presentation, then you could comment on that. You're both there for the same reason, so it's a commonality. At a wedding, either the bride or the groom are going to be a commonality. At a coffee shop, coffee might be the commonality, and you might comment on the array of different types of coffee on the board behind the counter, and well, there's hundreds these days, isn't there? So there's got to be material there for some conversation. I mean, back when I was younger, you went into a coffee shop, you asked for a coffee, you got a coffee. Now I'm showing my age there, so I'm going to swiftly move on from that one. Okay, so the R method, A.R.E. So the A stands for anchor, which is basically what we've just talked about, is establishing something in the environment and commenting on it. So it could be either physical, it might be a buffet, or it might be the presenter itself or the host of the event. It could be somebody within the environment. Again, I've just covered that for physicality, but it could be a person in the environment, including the presenter again, or a host, or the person that you're speaking to. You could comment about them or something they're wearing, which is these days that's almost a cliche. Nice necklace, nice earrings. Don't do that unless it's a genuine comment, because it will be transparent if you're just doing it for the sake of making a comment. But if you genuinely like something the other person is wearing, then go for it. Just a light comment or compliment and then move straight on from it. Maybe they have a nice pair of shoes and you like it and you feel like commenting on it. Or it could be something that's happening in the environment. So again, if you're at a seminar, then the presentation itself and the speaker, that's something that's happening. Maybe it's the weather and there's a storm outside and you want to comment on that. So you get it. You're looking for a commonality to comment and establish the beginnings of a conversation. And then you move on to the A.R.E. So you don't move on to the E because you just skipped over the R. So let's backtrack a little bit. So you've done the A for anchor, then R, which stands for reveal. So you're revealing something about yourself next. And we're going to go through an example in just a minute to make it all clearer. So now you've initiated the conversation, so it's up to you to lead it. And you can do that by revealing something about yourself. So you've commented on, let's say, the speaker, the presenter at a meetup group. And now you can make a comment and reveal something about yourself related to that. And then once you've done that, you can move into the E of this R method, which stands for encourage. And that basically means that now you've revealed something about yourself. You're going to encourage the other person to do the same through a question. So let's now try and clear that up and bring it into focus, bring it into clarity through an example. So I'm going to choose the example of a meetup group. I used to go to a meetup group in London, Entrepreneurs of London. I liked it very much. Of course, these days that kind of thing doesn't happen with the COVID virus and no more gatherings. Hopefully, we'll move on from that by the end of this year, 2022, and we'll be able to start having free gatherings again like that and be able to get into that flow of things once again. So I'm choosing that as my example. I'm at a meetup group, and let's say you're at the meetup group, and let's say, just for context of the R method, that Dr. Carol Fleming is the presenter. She's come along, she's got a new book coming out, or she's got a new course that she's developed, and she's there to present. And when people are doing presentations, they're often giving out some free and valuable information and actionable content, something that you can take away and use, like this strategy, for instance. So she's there giving a presentation, and now we're at a break. We're halfway through the presentation, and we stop for a break, and you're mingling with the other people. And I stop and I talk to you. I say hi, and you say hi back. And I go for the anchor, and I make a comment about the presenter, and I say, "Yeah, I've been looking forward to this presenter. She's really got good energy on that stage. I was particularly intrigued about what she said about X, Y, and Z. I really found that fascinating and quite surprising. And then I can go for the reveal and say something about myself, reveal something. So I might move on from there and say, I'm a real fan of Dr. Fleming. I've read all her books. I've based my own learnings, my own self development on some of her strategies. And then you go for the encourage. And so you ask a question, I ask a question of you and encourage you to maybe reveal something about yourself. So I might say, what did you think of what she said about X, Y, and Z? Or what brought you here today? What inspired you to come here today? So that's my example. So in summary, you've got the A for anchor, then R for reveal, and then E for encourage. And that's it, as promised. Nice and simple and actionable. And you could go away and use that almost straight away and practice it. And if you do get to the encouraged part and the other person is really non-committal and the maybe they're not as good a conversationalist as you are, and they just say, "Oh yeah, I like her," and then there's nothing else. So maybe you want a backup question, and so, like I said, my example was that, "Hey, you're what do you think of what she said about X, Y, and Z?" And if they say, or if you say, "Oh, well, it was okay, found it interesting," but then they have nothing else to say about it, then you might be in a potential area where you've got an awkward silence coming up. So you might want to have a backup question if you're good at thinking on your feet. So you might say, like what I gave up as an example. Well, what inspired you to come to this event today? What's your interest in Carol Fleming? And they might then have more to reveal because it's an open question. And then you get a little bit of a flow going as you discover something about this person that you might be able to comment on, and you might establish some shared value, something that you're both mutually interested in that you can talk about more. Of course, if you're at a meetup or a business seminar, it's more about networking. So you might not always want to get into a long flow of a conversation. You might want to make it short and snappy. Now, I do have a networking strategy for you in a future episode, so I'm going to save that for now, and I'm going to draw this live stream to a close and say thanks for listening. Have a look in the comments, in the notes, or the description for this live stream, and look for a sign up. And if you do that, that will help us get more connected to each other, and you'll get notifications about the next live stream or the next podcast that's coming up, and the strategy that we're going to be talking about in that one. And if you do this, I'm also going to share a code with you, which is going to give you a 20% discount on any workshops I do. So, I mean, the workshops themselves are very low cost anyway, $27, £20. You'll get a 20% discount because you found out about it through the live streams. So, if you sign up, you'll get the code, which you'll be able to use on any of my future workshops. And by the way, these future workshops, the strategies are ones that I've developed personally. And I blend memory techniques with conversation strategies to make real powerhouse conversation strategies that really will accelerate your social skills, your small talk muscles, so to speak. And so they are well worth tuning into. The first one, there's no date set specifically yet, but it's called 10 Topics in Your Pocket. And the particularly good this one if you're an oversharer or you're an undersharer. This technique kind of brings a balance, and it overcomes the risk of your mind going blank because I use a memory technique blended with a conversation strategy. So that's all I'm going to say about that. You'll get more details about it if you'd like to sign up. Of course, there's no obligation to sign up. Just keep tuning into these live streams and keep raising your awareness of all the different kinds of conversation strategies that are available. Because, like I said at the beginning of this live stream, there's a lot of good stuff coming. So let's get connected, sign up, and get the emails coming in so that you know when the next one is happening. There's going to be 2 or 3 per week. And let me just leave it at that and say thank you very much for tuning in, and thanks for your patience. I'm doing my best not to waffle. I'm going to do my best to keep cleaning up my delivery, and I hope you'll see that through the evolution of these live streams. So thanks